Honestly, Jake Paul, trash. Tommy Fury, trash. Criticize you for going 6 rounds with Jake Paul. How do you feel about that?
I deserve it.
Gervonta Davis reacted to Jake Paul's knockout loss against Anthony Joshua by laughing. Tank mocked Jake's punching style, joking about his wide swings and awkward movement. His reaction showed the clear skill gap and reminded everyone why fighting an elite heavyweight like AJ was always a huge risk. Ryan Garcia shared his thoughts on the Anthony Joshua vs. Jake Paul fight on X. He said, "I think Gervonta would have done him worse," suggesting that Davis's skill and power would have been a much bigger challenge than Jake Paul. At the same time, drama continued outside the ring. Analyst Fannin claimed that Gervonta Davis may file a defamation lawsuit against Jake Paul. The issue comes from Jake Paul allegedly accusing Davis of mistreating a girl, a claim Fannin says is completely false. According to him, the situation could now turn into a serious legal dispute.
And real possibility of Gervonta Davis filing a lawsuit against Jake Paul for defamation. A very, very real and possible thing. Jake Paul could be responsible for defamation against Gervonta Davis. I absolutely believe that to be the case. That's because Jake Paul said that he saw a videotape where Gervonta Davis punched a girl in her face. There's no testimony by anybody at all that Gervonta Davis did that. The girl herself is not accusing him of that. The videotape that somebody in the media said that they saw, a journalist said that they were given a copy to her, they were shown a copy of, didn't say it showed anything about Gervonta Davis punching the girl or hitting the girl. It was just that the person categorized it as it looking as if Gervonta was forcing her to leave the club. So basically, she was
Many voices from boxing and social media reacted strongly to Jake Paul's fight with Anthony Joshua. Chris Eubank Jr. posted on X, saying that no matter the result, Jake Paul stepped into the ring with an Olympic gold medalist and former heavyweight world champion and gave his best until the end. He said Jake deserves respect for trying something most people would never attempt, adding humor. KSI posted a laughing reaction on X, joking about waking up to news of Jake Paul getting knocked out.
Don't mind me. Just smoking on that Jake Paul. Honestly, Jake Paul, trash. Tommy Fury, trash.
Meanwhile, Chris Mannix reacted with shock, simply saying, "This is horrifying." Despite the loss, Jake Paul received praise from boxing legend Antonio Tarver. Tarver said on YouTube that Paul performed well against Joshua and survived 6 full rounds. He explained that many fighters would have been knocked out much earlier. Tarver said lasting against an Olympic gold medalist and former heavyweight champion deserves respect and shows that Jake Paul trained seriously for the fight. His comments added credibility to Paul's effort in the ring.
Antonio Tarver after another big fight. Jake Paul stopped by Anthony Joshua tonight. What did you make of it?
I expected it. AJ looked like he was putting that pressure on, but credit to Jake Paul. He didn't make it easy, bro. He wasn't no sitting duck. You know, he got on his footwork, used his ring, was moving a lot, and he landed some shots. So hats off to Jake Paul, but he was in there surviving, and he didn't make it easy for AJ, but AJ landed that right hand. I knew it was over after that.
Why did it take so long, do you think?
Oh, Jake Paul wasn't a sitting duck. You know, he was putting his mind to the game, but just didn't have enough in his bag. He just, like I said, he got to get those lessons and evolve more as a fighter, you know.
Want to see him continue?
Yeah, he's going to continue, of course. Just got to pick him right, bro, and give yourself a chance, you know what I mean? I think he was just biting off a little bit more than he can chew tonight. You know, his aspirations was a little bit far out.
I think AJ could have got it done a bit quicker.
I mean, I think he was in there to do it, but like I say, Jake didn't make it easy, bro. It's hard to hit somebody when they moving, especially the way he was moving lateral, just, you know, circling. So he had to catch up with him. He hit him with a couple.
Veteran boxing voice and Hall of Famer Larry Merchant delivered a harsh opinion on X. He said the person who should feel ashamed is Anthony Joshua, not Jake Paul. He praised Paul as a smart businessman but questioned Joshua's commitment to boxing and suggested the fight hurt AJ's legacy. Medical experts also weighed in. Dr. Brian Sutter explained Jake Paul's fractured jaw and warned about possible long-term issues, including pain, eating problems, and complications if not treated properly. He said repeated injuries like this could affect Jake's future career, reminding fans that boxing injuries are serious.
I'll admit I watched the fight pretty boring in the first half before AJ finally turned it on and we got the outcome that we all expected. After the fight though, Jake told Ariel Helwani that he was worried that he had broke his jaw. He said multiple times he was concerned that he had a fractured jaw. And certainly looking at this knockout punch that Anthony Joshua delivers, it is absolutely a possibility that Jake does in fact have a jaw fracture. I'd honestly be more concerned about a concussion. In fact, with most jaw fractures, the more important thing initially is to look for other injuries to the head, to the neck, to the airway. The jaw fracture potentially being there or not is going to be lower on the list often than whether there's damage to the airway, damage to the head. And so very possible to have a concussion or some residual symptoms from this, as Jake Paul's head is relatively still here. We see AJ comes in with that right, and that sudden, quick, violent rotation of the head is going to transmit a lot of rotational force, not only through the brain, but also through the brainstem, absolutely leading to possibility of a concussion. Thankfully, it didn't completely knock him out, but could absolutely result in some delayed symptoms. But you can see where the punch comes in, landing square on that left side of Paul's face. Jake's reaction was pretty telling too. Right away after it, we could see him going down on the canvas here and being very shocked. It doesn't look like there's any obvious deformity to the jaw. We won't necessarily always see a deformity to the jaw, but you could tell he clearly had realized that something serious had happened there and feeling the full power of AJ's right. And finally, on this last view, we can see a little bit better the exact location where the punch comes in. We'll talk about our jaw anatomy, the different areas of the bones, but your temporomandibular joint, where your jaw are—
Nakisa Bidarian shared an emotional response after the fight. She said she was heartbroken but proud of Jake Paul. According to her, Jake gave his best performance under extreme pressure while facing one of the greatest heavyweights in boxing history. Her reaction reflected the feelings of many fans sad about the loss, but respectful of Jake's courage.
I'm just happy he's safe. I've always been proud of him. I speak constantly from the rooftops, the mountaintops, from my car when I'm moving in the street. Respect Jake Paul. That was the #1 trending thing on Twitter about an hour ago. Respect to Jake Paul. So I'm just thrilled.
With how it went tonight, obviously you guys came in here and you actually did, like, believe it or not, what people will say. People believed that Jake Paul could do something crazy tonight. Did you truly believe from the beginning that he might pull it off?
So he 100% believed unequivocally that he was going to win. And I talked about that with him, afterwards when he was getting showered up. He knew it was high risk, high reward. He had to land something big, but he felt like he could. My view was it was going to be very hard, but it could happen, right? And there was moments in that fight where I was like, holy shit, this kid's getting him a little bit. So, when I spoke about no matter what happens, he won.
Anthony Joshua also addressed the fight and the public reaction. He said Jake Paul deserves criticism for going 6 rounds, but admitted there was little Jake could have done differently because of the huge experience gap. Joshua balanced honesty with respect, recognizing Jake's effort while understanding the expectations placed on both fighters.
Right, how do you feel?
Feel good. How do I feel? I feel good.
People will criticize you for going 6 rounds with Jake Paul. How do you feel about that?
I deserve it.
Why? Come on.
Because, we're elite fighters. So I put myself in the shoes of a coach. If I was coaching Anthony Joshua and he went 6 rounds with Jake Paul, I would get him back in the gym tomorrow, give him a bit of a beating, and we're getting straight back to work, because I'll be like, how are you letting this kid take you 6 rounds? Are you crazy? But I can't go back in time.
He was elusive though. He made himself a small target. You decided to take your time in there with him.
Yeah, so if you listen back to the interview I done with MVP and Netflix, I said, in boxing, there's a time when you systematically break someone down and you see their soul leaving their body. And after a period of time, 2 things start to happen to them. Either they give up or they get knocked out. And there was a bit of a mix. I broke Jake's jaw. And
his teeth look a bit removed as well.
Yeah, his teeth have come out of place. But credit to him, he done well. But I told him what was going to happen, but it just took 6 rounds to do that. And I swear to you, so I'm going to tell you this. Listen to everything I say. I watched The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. And there was a game where someone said to him, they didn't say hi to him. And he said to them—
Boxing commentator Wade Plemons was very direct. He said Anthony Joshua deserves criticism despite winning. Plemons pointed out that AJ's footwork looked flat, even after training at Usyk's camp. He believed Joshua could have performed better. His comments started debate among fans and analysts, showing that even a victory does not always meet expectations for elite fighters.
To get his timing, no excuses. AJ didn't look great, I'll be honest. He didn't look great. He didn't look like, an AJ we thought we were going to get, the marauder, the guy that was going to come forward and bang out Jake in one round. Pause. But, so I just think it was a mix of AJ didn't look great. Jake didn't engage as much as people maybe thought he would, even though I kind of thought this is exactly how the fight would go. And it took AJ a little bit longer, but eventually he got the job done.
I mean, look, it was a big ring. We knew it was going to be a big ring. It looked at times like it was a fight on a football pitch sometimes. It was a big ring.
Jake made it feel very big because he hugged those ropes. It wasn't...
You've got to cut the ring off, right?
100%. And this is the thing where AJ deserves, the criticism of a guy that has his skill level, a guy that has his experience level. You shouldn't be getting caught up in the idea that you have to go in and put him out in one round. You said in the whole fight week leading up that you weren't going to worry about the crowd, that you weren't going to worry about the mind games. And sure enough, round one comes out and you're trying to step to him, but you're forgetting all your fundamentals. I heard everything about how AJ would go to Usyk's camp and they would fix his feet. His feet were flat. He walked in crossing his feet over and he chased Jake. Chased him the entire fight until Jake got tired enough to be caught. So that was stuff that I looked at and was like, yeah, this deserves criticism. Jake didn't do.
What a joke of a fight. I was hoping that I could at least give Jake credibility and saying, he took this challenge. Even if it's for a lot of money, he still had the guts to walk to the ring and all this stuff. I was hoping, you're going to get knocked out anyway, dude. Like, I was hoping I could say, because he earned the respect of boxing fans by going out on his shield. Guy just ran for his life. I just watched Jake Paul run for his life for like 5-6 rounds. Literally just he was doing football jukes. You guys watched that fight? Ring was big. I made a freaking point about that ring being big, and he used it to his advantage in terms of survival in every way he could. I mean, this guy literally never tried to win a second of the fight. He was trying to throw a home run punch every once in a while. Then notice every time he got in the clinch, he just went down. Like he just hugged Anthony Joshua and then would go down and the referee would call it a slip and give him a break. And he would just kill time that way. Then he was completely angling off. He's completely blading his shoulder off completely to the point where he's so bladed off that he can't even punch. He was just trying to make himself as small of a target as possible. And Anthony Joshua, people are going to say, oh, why didn't Anthony Joshua catch up to him? Because Anthony Joshua never had fast feet to begin with. And Anthony Joshua, honestly, should have probably cut off the ring a little bit better. That's my one critique of Joshua. He probably could have cut off the ring a little bit better. Joshua's always never really had the best feet, but in terms of cutting off the ring, he could have at least done that. But honestly, what do you want the guy to do? I mean, this guy ran for his life in a 22 by 22 foot ring. That ring was huge. I can't believe what I just watched, guys. I'm seriously dude. That's it. This was AJ's chance. Could have went out on his shield and his chance to say, yeah, get the respect of the boxing community. This was the one that could have got him the